this is the, I don't remember which number we're on, but we are working on the Escavalier Gajinka. Last time I was, I don't remember. Anyway, I ended the last tape so I could do this, cover everything with duct tape thing. Now, originally I was going to cover all of it, but then I realized, it's going to be easier for me to color this with some of the like what I use for the Silverhawks costume, which is basically it's a combination. Here, I can just show you. Just grab it and show you what it is. Come here, Mr. Skull. All right, this is duct tape with tin foil and then packing tape over it. It's flexible, it's relatively tough, and you can do just about anything with it. It's time-consuming to make. The materials that you use aren't really all that expensive, but combining the three can be. $3 for a roll of packing tape, $3 for duct tape, and then, how much does tin foil cost? I don't remember. It's been so long, but if you're working with tin foil for a costume, make sure you get the heavy-duty stuff, because it's not worth the flimsy, cheap stuff. Tearing and all that. But anyway, I'm going to make some of this to cover the helmet part, and, well, I'm going to do that later, because something else I realized, when you're doing this kind of stuff, it's a good idea to put it on every once in a while to make sure you can keep track of how much it weighs, make sure you're you're restricting yourself too much. And, if I would have covered this in whatever, whether it be that or color or whatever, and just be done with it, if I were done with this and I didn't add anything more to it, I'd kind of be screwed, because I need to put a chin strap here. Without that, it wobbles, it wants to go wherever it wants to. Of course it wants. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, so I have to have something in place to keep it from, the wobble wheel. This I'm not so much worried about. I'm worried about it falling off his head. So, the best way to do this, best way to explain what I'm going to be doing, is like with the Snake Man helmet. All this was a chin strap, and the tail is broken off right now because I haven't patched it back up, but the tail weighed enough to counterbalance the helmet, or I don't know how you want to look at it. The tail would pull back on the head, and the chin strap held it up. So when you put it on, you just kind of put your chin in there first, and then wrap the heavy part around the back, and it held it on. Because it's not a full helmet, it's just like a mask. And that's kind of the same thing I want to do with this. I mean, we're starting with more of a helmet than the other one was, but it's still going to have the strap in place to hold it, when it wobbles back. But I'm also going to make it so it'll hold it in place if it wobbles forward. And to do that, I'm just going to, instead of making it, if this was the strap, instead of making it like one direction, like this, I'm going to make it like, this might be more toward the middle, and it's going to be like branching off. Kind of like a triangle at the top, and that way it holds whichever direction you're going. It's kind of an annoying process. It's a lot of guesswork. I'll show you a little bit about what I'm talking about here. Especially when you have the basis of what, the base piece of what you're working with already. And you just take, you want to get two straps that are, well, two anything really. I'm using cardboard. You can use cloth or plastic or whatever, but As long as they're the same size and shape, that way you can stay symmetrical. Also, if you're working with anything sticky in the helmet, your hair's going to come out. Just be ready for that, because it hurts. Let's see. Right now, I just want to mark where the things should be. See, I'm just going to put one little piece of tape there, slap it on where I want it, position it. Right there, I think. And then I'll try to make it as symmetrical as possible just by using that one. You don't want to anchor it just yet because you're not sure, if that's where you're going to want it ultimately. So take a look at it, make sure it's not too ugly. It's the construction process, but I mean, when you're finished, make sure it being there doesn't take too much away from the costume. If anything, you'd like to add to the costume, make it cooler. But something like this, I mean, it's a Gajinka, so kind of a knight or a gladiator or whatever. So they would have a helmet with a chin strap. So it's not really taking anything away from the costume. It's just part of the interpretation of the Gajinka, or the interpretation of Pokemon. So from there, I want to put the other one on the opposite side at as close to the same angle as I can get. The same spot. Again, you don't need to reinforce it, just not yet. I'll lay that down and then eyeball it. You could put them both on, when you have the helmet on, like I did for the one. But when I do that, I find that they're completely different spots when I'm done. You might have one hand further back than the other, or slightly different angle. It's easier to do one and then take it off and take an eagle eye view of it just to see where the position of the strap is. Try to match it up as best you can. It's going to be a lot of, try it, take it off, move it. And right here, it's giving me some grief underneath. That could be because it's not even. The plastic isn't perfect all the way around. It's uneven. So it could be that, there's just extra plastic there. It could be that I have it positioned wrong, but I just kind of worked it out there. Try this again. See where we ended up with. Where we ended up with the straps. Position it. Might also be a good idea to put, if you're going to put padding in the helmet, do it now so you know how tight to make this. Because if you make this and then the padding is an afterthought, it could get really tight. I might put some foam in there. This is not reinforced, but this is telling me that this is this is going to stay on pretty well. As long as I keep it like this. To do that, you can do this. I'm not crazy, I have a mirror that you probably can't see, but there we go. So this will be the basic shape. And see how this one's kind of bent there because of my jaw? I could bend the other one in about the same spot. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can put a few bends in there to make it kind of, or use cloth. Cloth just, does what it wants to. And in fact, once you put some bending points in there, it's going to be looser, and you might want to tighten it a little bit there. Now, obviously, this helmet not being for me, it's not going to be perfect for Dib. But once he's here, or I think I'll bring this up to his house this weekend. But once I have him available to size it, I can alter the strap as I need to. Even if I complete all the color and stuff, I can still alter it from like down here where it's not really going to be seen. Try to take that off. See, and when you're done with it, this is how it should work. I mean, there's going to be a little give right here, and the rest of it's going to be sturdy, and it's just enough give to like put it on, take it off. However, what I'm gonna do, lay that way so I don't screw that up. But I want to use a chin strap thing, like a hard surface mount. Like for the Snake Man helmet, this was, well, it's part of the water bottle jug, but I think the part I started with was near the opening at the top, because I think I remember cutting around that. At any rate, I don't have another gallon jug right now, so I had to find something else that has that similar shape to it. And this has got, you know, the basic shape of a chin. It's sturdy plastic. I haven't cut into one of these jugs before, so I'm not even sure what to expect as far as how thick this plastic is. You can kind of tell by squeezing it, but when there are this many angles on it, I don't know, it gets tougher at the angles, so it's harder to tell without actually cutting it. So I'm going to give that a try here. I'm going to get this out of my way a little bit. I think it's going to knock over the... Come on. Alright, now let that go. Come here. It's okay. You going to help? You going to be a movie star? Yeah. That's what I thought. So... now this thing, I rinsed it out the best I could, used hot water, especially if you have something that's been sitting there for a while, and you're recycling or in the garbage or whatever. If you have stuff that's just kind of hard and crusty at the bottom, soak it in hot water. It'll get rid of the problems. Oh, how to do this. I need to get rid of the labels so I don't have to mess with that. Lets to get in my way. Okay. Good idea to always have a towel around just in case. Whatever. You know. Probably not working with a whole lot of liquid, but if you run into this where I had rinsed it out and there's still water there, you want to soak it up before it gets to the stuff that can be damaged by water. Alright, let's see. There's another shape down here that I could use for the chin, but I don't really want to try to cut through this part. I could cut around it pretty easily and just cut it off of this part completely, but I don't think it's worth all that trouble. So I'm going to try this one first. Cut it off right there. Yep, definitely a job for this one. Big scissors would just be too bulky and not sharp enough. Using the serrated blade on the multi-tool. Okay, this is a good example of, I was explaining the different angles on the bottle itself where it gets tougher at the joints or whatever, the bends. I had to saw through this, and as soon as I came out of that turn, it sliced. It was just through. I'm like, okay. So that's all it takes. That little, there might be an 1/8 of an inch difference there, and I had to. I mean, I went from just full force sawing to, and it was done. So keep that in mind when you're chopping bottles apart. And see, I'm trying to get to the softer area so I don't have to saw so much, but there's, you know, when you're cutting on a bend like that, it's pretty much impossible to keep it in place. Really want to concentrate when you're doing this, especially when you're sawing downward toward your crotch. You don't want to, no. Just pay attention to what you're doing. And don't record videos of what you're doing and stuff. Then you lose track of it. So, it's got a weird little handle dealy. Cut it out. Really? Really? Okay, well, I don't need that part anyway. I don't care that much. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna cut this away. Yeah, I don't need that. That'd just get in the way. Actually, I'm just gonna cut this handle off. The safe thing to do would be cut it over the table so you don't accidentally slip and stab yourself or something. But really, it's hard to get that angle, the angle that you want. I mean, you should always wear the proper protection gear typey stuff, goggles and junk. So, do as I say, not as I do. Anytime you're putting force on a knife like this, whether you're using the blade or the serrated edge, it's you want to make sure whatever's in front, whatever you're pointing towards, is empty. Like, I should have this on the table just pointing away from me, because, you know, if it slips, you're going to go forward. Otherwise, like in there. You don't want that. I'm repeating myself now, but it's very dangerous. Okay. Alright. Now, blink and stop. Really? Blink. Part of a bottle is arguing with you too much, just move it a little bit, like an 1/8 of an inch one way or the other, because you might find really a weaker part of the plastic that you can cut through easier. Alright, well. Cutting something round like this and you want to make it symmetrical, you can turn it like that, put it on a table, and you can see which side you need to cut to make it even. cut them both. Or you can go back to the part that you cut off of it and cut enough of that off to tape it back on to the part you're going to use, or glue it, or whatever. If you need to. You don't need to take it that far, but turn a little bit off of that, and then go for the other side. Nothing's perfect. Why can't I have close enough? There we go. Alright, that's close enough. There's still a little gap under here when I do this, but it's not terrible, and it's not going to show up like that when I'm done anyway, because it's going to be, oh, that hurt. Okay, I'm going to do this. That alarm means it's time to end the video. So, next video I'll construct the chin thing. Yeah, I'll probably just record it right now. I'm keeping the videos short so I can upload them faster. Less editing. Anyway. Yeah, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Post them below. And let's see. If you like it, like it. What else? If you didn't like what you saw, check out the other videos anyway. There might be something that you like or didn't know or whatever. So yeah, that's all. Remember, kids, if you don't work on your costume, it's not going to get done. Okay, bye.